In the ancient trading city of Ujjain, a financial parable was born, one that still echoes in the markets of today. At sunrise, caravans flooded the city gates, and at dusk, Tay departed, carrying spices, cloth, and something far more valuable. Stories. In this bustling hub, true wealth didn't belong to the merchants with the loudest voices, but to those who understood the quiet language of value. Among them lived a man named Arvind. Arvind wasn't the richest man in Ujjain. His trade routes weren't the longest, and he never displayed gold to command respect. Yet, there was an understated power about him, symbolized by something few ever noticed: a very small, discreet sign, engraved on a simple copper ring, which he always wore on the little finger of his right hand, was a tiny mark. It was subtle, almost invisible, but once you saw it, it was unmistakable. Small, constant, unchanged. This mark was a private reminder of a lesson his father had taught him long ago. Money follows those who explain value, his father had said, not those who beg for a price. While other young men chased fleeting profits and gambled on shortcuts, Arvind chose a different path, the path of discipline. He trained his eyes to observe people, not just their purses. He trained his ears to truly listen, to understand the desires hidden behind their words, and he trained his mind to connect those desires to a solution. Every night, by the dim light of an oil lamp, he meticulously carved notes into clay tablets. He didn't just record sales, he recorded the human element behind them. Who bought from him? Why did they trust him? What made them hesitate? These small, consistent acts of observation quietly shaped his entire career. His habits became his foundation. His stall in the marketplace was modest, ideally overlooked among the more lavish displays. Yet, it was never empty. There was a constant, gentle hum of activity around it, a stark contrast to the desperate shouts of his competitors. The reason was simple, yet profound. Arvind didn't sell fabric. He sold meaning. Each piece of cloth that left his stall was wrapped in a story. He would explain who wove it, the weeks or months it took to create, and the specific problem it solved for the buyer. Perhaps it was a lightweight wrap for the desert heat, or a durable textile for a long journey. Because of this, buyers lingered. Conversations deepened. The transactions were no longer just about exchanging coins for goods. They were about connection and understanding. And although the money came slowly at first, something else began to grow much faster. Trust. That trust became an invisible form of income, an asset that compounded day after day, far more powerful than any gold coin. And through it all, the small mark on his copper ring remained, discreet and unchanged. One sweltering afternoon, a nobleman, accustomed to the finest things, stopped at Arvind's humble stall. He picked up a simple, unadorned rug, examining its texture. Any other merchant would have immediately launched into a sales pitch, boasting of its quality and haggling over the price. But Arvind did not push for a sale. Instead, he simply began to tell its story. He spoke of the village it came from, the specific family that wove it, and the generations of skill passed down to create its tight, durable weave. He explained the patience required to finish a piece of such understated quality. The nobleman listened, captivated. When Arvind finished, the noble paid more than the asking price, without a moment's hesitation. He wasn't paying for the object itself. He was paying for the story, the certainty, and the connection behind it. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Arvind carved a new, powerful lesson into his clay tablet. When the story grows, income follows. The last rays of light caught the copper ring on his finger, illuminating the same small mark, unchanged. Over the years, other merchants noticed Arvind's quiet success and tried to imitate him. They copied his prices, thinking that was his secret. They even tried to repeat his words, turning his genuine stories into hollow scripts. But they failed, because they skipped the most important part: the years of discipline that made those words credible. They wanted to harvest without planting the seeds. Arvind, meanwhile, continued his practice. He reinvested a portion of every single gain, not into lavish goods, but into intangible assets. He invested in learning, constantly seeking new knowledge about his craft and his customers. He invested in relationships, building a network of loyalty and respect. And he invested in refining his skills, becoming a master of his trade. Slowly, his reputation began to work for him. Money began to flow alongside it, no longer a struggle but a natural consequence of the value he created. His wealth became intentional, not accidental. It was built, not stumbled upon, and all the while, the mark on his ring never grew larger. It did not need to. Its power was in its consistency, not its size. Years later, a young boy named Ravi, with bright, curious eyes, approached Arvind and asked to become his apprentice. Arvind agreed, but he set one simple, unwavering rule. First, he told the boy, "You will learn to serve. Only much later will you learn to sell." So, Ravi began his education not by handling money, but by handling tasks. He cleaned the stall, organized the inventory, and served water to weary travelers. Most importantly, he observed and he listened, just as Arvind had done decades before. One day, as he was handing Arvind a cup of tea, he finally noticed the tiny, curious mark on his master's ring. "Master?" he asked. "What does that mark mean?" Arvind smiled, a warm, knowing smile that reached his eyes. "It is a reminder," he explained softly. "It reminds me that every single action we take creates a financial result, whether it is immediate or delayed. Every kind word, every moment of listening, every bit of honest work. It all adds up." Ravi never forgot that lesson. As he grew, built his own skills, and eventually opened his own successful trading house, the principle of the invisible mark stayed with him. That small, constant, unchanged symbol became his guide, a symbol of consistency, integrity, and the long-term power of creating value. When Arvind passed away, he was respected not just for being wealthy, but for being wise. His name became synonymous with reliable results, not with luck. His true legacy wasn't the gold he left behind, but the method he perfected and passed on, and the small sign, that quiet reminder of discipline and value, continued from mentor to apprentice, a secret to building lasting wealth. The lesson from this ancient story is as true today as it was then. Money follows clarity. When you are clear about the value you provide, money is drawn to you. Income follows skills. The better you become at your craft, the more you will learn. And true, lasting wealth follows discipline over time. It's for those who have the patience to build, not just the desire to take. Those who focus on creating genuine value first always earn financial success later. It is an immutable law of economics and of life. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more content that explores the timeless principles of wealth and wisdom. See you in the next one.